up my channel? It's me, your friendly neighborhood sassy bun writer, coming at you with another video. Today's topic is the pros and cons of being a pantser versus a planner. As I have tried both and I see the pros and cons, let me just explain why I've tried both of them. I've written one book through NaNoWriMo and then two through Camp NaNoWriMo. Each time I tried something different. I know most author tubers usually stick with one way to write a story, but if you aren't sure which style works for you, maybe this will help. So here goes your pros and cons of being a pantser versus a planner. With anything, when you have different options, each option will always have its pros and cons. I'm not one to say that one is better than the other. I do highly recommend trying outlining at least once and then trying pantsing at least once, just to get a feel for which one works better. In trying to do planning and pantsing, I realized that I'm a planter. If you're a planter, you can kind of pick and choose which one with the pros from each and kind of do it your own way. First, we're going to go over the pros and cons of being a planner. Pro, you know exactly what is going to happen in your novel from start to finish, so you have a definite direction of where that story is going to go. The con would be some people can get so caught up in the drafting and the pre-writing process that they actually never finish, or in some cases actually never even start their novel too. Pro, you will know everything about your characters from when you're beginning. Con, if you decide to change anything once you start writing, then you have to go through and reorganize and redo your entire outline and basically start from scratch. You don't have as much flexibility as you would if you were a pantser while you are writing if you decide to change your outline. Another pro is determining a unique voice for your characters is much easier when you already know a lot of stuff about them. However, if you decide that while you are writing that you don't need a character, it can feel like you did all that work developing them for nothing. Pro, you will most likely make less structural changes in the end, assuming you plotted while following a structure. Con, if you didn't plot according to a story structure, you may still end up with huge revisions and structural changes despite all the work that you put into working on your plot, to plotting your outline. Pro, you will most likely have fewer plot holes and inconsistencies because you plotted it all out. Because you plotted everything out beforehand, so you had a chance to figure it out before you started writing, and you can make yourself a little chicky chick. Con, if your story doesn't follow a typical story structure, like it's fragmented or it has multiple storylines, that sort of thing, it can be a lot harder to find a method of outlining that will take this into account. And the more avant-garde you get with your writing, the more you have to kind of figure out how to outline it on your own. Pro, if you decide to make your book into a series, you can make sure that there's continuity in the book, J.K. Rowling style. Again, not endorsing her, I'm just saying Harry Potter's really well done series. Con, if you make changes to the story that you wrote, then you have to go through your whole outline. If you're doing a series, you have to go through your outline the entire series and make sure that change has continuity. Pro, it would be a lot easier to balance your subplots with your main plot and make sure that they don't overshadow each other because you're planning this all beforehand, so you can kind of gauge what's getting the most attention. Con, you can end up spending more time prepping and less time writing, which I already hinted at because of all the different things that you have to take into account. Just things to keep in mind while you are planning. So I have 7 pros and cons for planning. Pros and cons of pantsing. Pro is you spend more time actually writing than you do in the pre-writing phase because you just kind of come up with your general concepts. Maybe you come up with some other things and you kind of know where you're going and you can just get started and hit the ground running. Con to that would be if you don't do a little bit of prep, it might not be time well spent that you use while you're writing. There's nothing more annoying than spending days writing something and then realizing you can't do anything with what you wrote. You might not be using your time well that you spend writing anything that's worth keeping in your book. Grow for pantsing. You can develop the characters as you write instead of filling out worksheets, which again means you're being a little bit more efficient with regards to your writing time. Con, you can have inconsistencies with your character's behavior because you're kind of figuring them out as you write, and you'll have to do more editing once you're done. Pro for pantsing, you have flexibility to change things as you go along. You don't have to worry about an outline being updated as you write. Con to that would be you can end up with the reverse problem with the planner, where what you ended up writing is going to be a pain to edit. Another con to being a pantser is editing is usually a lot more work than it is for planners, because you will probably figure out as you're writing things you need to change halfway through the book, which can just be a lot of extra work to be a pantser when you're editing. That's all I got for you today. So those are the pros and cons of being a pantser versus a planner. Weigh which one works more for you. I highly recommend trying either way to kind of gauge what helps you do better as a writer. Again, everybody has their own unique style, and these are just the two main camps. I don't think there's anything wrong with either of them. It just doesn't work for everybody, so don't get caught up on one versus the other. That's all I got for you today. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want more content like this, please hit subscribe so you can see more of my fabulous videos. And of course, happy writing!